All right, welcome back to Bayou Town. We're talking about the cigarette tax veto that the governor had vetoed, the 4-cent portion of the state cigarette tax. The House today gets it, tags it on to another bill by John Alario, Senate Bill 53, and it basically makes it a tax now that's going to go to the people. It's going to be a constitutional amendment, and from what I understand, sent the governor in orbit. He wasn't happy with it, but the House wanted this tax back on it, so they put it on a very, very popular Senate Bill 53, which redirects more than $40 million a year in tobacco settlement proceeds to TOPS college scholarships. Now, here's the reasoning behind that. Who's going to touch TOPS college scholarships? The answer is basically no one. Education is at the top of the list. So by putting that cigarette tax at the end of that bill, woo, talk about some gamesmanship going on in Baton Rouge. Now, we're trying to get some of our reps on the phone, but they're in a lockdown. I just got a text from a couple of them. They're in lockdown right now. So Jason's trying to get us some video up through the internet of the, we'll just put it up. We'll just show it right now, just somebody speaking. So somebody just talking. But they're in lockdown, so I guess that means we're going to have to wait to hear from our representatives on this. So a lot of gamesmanship going on in Baton Rouge today. Let's listen to some more phone calls. All the lines are lit up, and we want to hear from the people. So here we go. HTV, welcome to the program. You're on. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Mark.
How you doing, sir?
All right, man. Look, how's Jimmy doing?
Jimmy's doing good from what I'm hearing. He's getting better, and he was doing good. How was your Father's Day?
Huh?
Everything was good for you?
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that with Jimmy. I like old Jimmy. Mark, I'm a little hard to hear sometimes. I don't understand what you say. Y'all did a good job on sanitary drug. I'm very proud of you, what you did. You and Joe Ways and Campbell. No, y'all really did a great job. On cigarette tax, I don't smoke more. I got some brothers that smoke. I don't think it's fair, but they have to put a cigarette tax to me. They ought to put a tax on all the chemicals going in the air. That causes cancer. All the smoke the King farm was burned. That got all kind of chemicals in the King. Why they don't tax on that? But what the man was saying from St. James, I kind of agree with this gambling stuff, Mark. You know how they need to stop people from gambling? I'm going to tell you how the good way to do it. Charge people $5 a month license for gambling. You need a license for everything else. You need a license for hunting. You need a license for fishing. You need a license for driving. Everything else. Why not have a license for gambling? I have a $5 license a month. If you want to gamble the whole year, it costs you $65 a year. I guarantee that's going to cut a lot of people from gambling. Well, they're going to make a lot of money for revenue.
No, I don't think it's going to cut them from gambling. I think it's just they're going to have $5 less to gamble with at the end of the month.
Yeah, but that would raise money for the state.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. But it ain't going to stop them from gambling. They're going to still find a way to gamble. But instead of having $100 to gamble with, they'll have 95.
But it might catch some of the people that's on welfare that's spending tax people's money shouldn't be gambling, which they should be buying food with that. That's what they give that money for, Mark.
I hear you loud and clear. I mean, you're absolutely preaching to the choir here, but when people have that addiction, it's just hard to get them out of it. Yeah. So I agree with you, though. Make a little money for the state while you're at it.
Yes, sir. How are your daddy doing too, Mark?
Oh, he's doing good, and he had a good Father's Day. And we cooked him up a bunch of food, so he's doing pretty good.
Well, happy Father's Day to all of y'all, and I wish y'all all have a good one. And Martin, y'all keep on the good work. I'm very proud of what y'all doing with that satanic drugs, man. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you. HTV, welcome to the program. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
What's up, Mr. Martin? This your boy, Mr. Chapman. You heard me?
All right, go ahead.
Just what I wanted to say, you know, like, on them cigarettes, you know, you can't really stop nobody from smoking because, like, you know, like they trying to stop people from smoking marijuana and they just go and get moto. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it don't matter what the price is. You can't really stop nobody. Like a couple of my homeboys, you know, like they started selling drugs because of the less jobs that they had down here. You know. So I'm saying like this, how you gonna stop people in the store from selling mojo? You can't even stop some of these dealers that's out here on the street.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know,
what I'm saying?
I would agree.
Thing in a legitimate way.
Well, wait, I would agree. Let me respond to your question to me. It's going to be a lot easier to stop people from selling synthetic marijuana, which, by the way, is 10 times worse than regular marijuana. It's going to be easier to stop them. You know why you can stop them?
How?
You can seize their store. You can lock them down, and you can seize a store just like you can a vehicle, just like you can anything else they own. Now, a drug deal on the street, you got to catch them first.
Yeah.
Look, a drug deal on the street is harder to catch than somebody that owns a store selling it out the store.
Well, I don't want them to go from selling it to the store to try to come over here on the street corner.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Drugs out here on the street corner as it is.
Well,
you know about somebody from the store.
But here was my big thing. Here was my big thing about the mojo and everything else. They were making it look like to the kids that was no bad deal, when in fact it was so new, so many chemicals in it, that when the kids were smoking it, they were going crazy, committing suicide, having bleeding in the brain and the ears. So they were misrepresenting what they were selling, in other words. If somebody's going to buy crack or marijuana or crystal meth on the street, they know what they're getting because they've been taking it and they've been buying it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not condoning it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's two different animals, though. We're comparing, apples to oranges here.
Well, I know a way that we can stop it, from the mojo to everything. Only thing we got to do is get the community involved. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about starting no riot or nothing, but if we get the community involved, it's definitely gonna put it to a stop.
Well, hey, I'm gonna tell you. Let me toot our own horn here. We did start it here on HTV, and guess what? I'm looking at the bill right here. It's gonna be illegal, and I'm gonna tell you, we pushed and pushed and pushed, and we got people behind it, and the DA got people behind it from Thibodeau and Houma. It wasn't just an HTV thing. It was a community thing, and the people got behind it. And we could do the same thing with other things.
Well, I'm going to try to get my people behind it with you, too, because, most of my homeboys and stuff, they don't take the time out to see what's going on in their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I watch HTV. I try to get as much people to watch HTV because it's not just about, it's about us in this community in Terrebonne Parish.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to keep trying, and we need you to keep trying with us.
All right.
All right? Have a good night. Thank you.
Too.
HTV, welcome to Bayou Time. You're on. Go ahead, please.
Martin.
Yes.
Did you get a call from Thibodeau today about a hanging in Thibodeau at an apartment?
No, I did not.
Well, supposedly yesterday there was somebody that hung himself in an apartment. Supposedly he had called his kids the day before, and when they went yesterday for Father's Day, they found him hung in the closet.
Wow.
So
certainly that's very. Anytime you have a suicide like that, we assume it is. It's very tragic, and that's not a lead story for us because obviously somebody was very troubled. But
right.
I did not hear it. I really did.
No, well, I just thought maybe they had called you, from the police department over here to let you know.
No, they had not. It's golly. I mean, my heart goes out to the family in that case for sure.
Yeah, well, I just don't know who it is. So
okay.
I just thought I was going to call you to find out if you had any news on that.
Well, I appreciate it. But even if we did, because of that, we would not give the name. I can tell you that.
Yeah, right. But no, whether you would have gave the name or not, it's just saying that you would have heard about the hanging,
And I'll get Jason to see if he has any information. But when I was looking at all the top events, I didn't come across it. But I will check.
Okay, then.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
Thank you. HTV, welcome to the program. You're on. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Martin.
How you doing tonight?
Doing all right. Did Harrison and Joe Harrison and Gardy Dove, they voted for that cigarette tax increase, didn't they?
Yeah, I think for sure Harrison. I'd have to pull. I can't remember if I was trying to get all the names. I'll get Jason to print it out for me. I think he did. I think both of them did.
Did they express why they wanted to raise tax on cigarette smokers?
Well, I'm trying to let them talk for themselves, and I had them about to come on, but the problem was they're in a lockdown right now in Baton Rouge in the house. Both of them are going to come on about 6:20, so I assume they're going to be on in a few minutes. I'm going to let them say in their own words why they did it, because they're going to be on. We're going to get them on before the show, before the end of the show.
You know, I'm not necessarily against a tax on vices, but the problem I have, Martin, is that obesity contributes to heart disease just as much as cigarettes. And I just feel like the money that's being raised on cigarette tax should go to health care to help the people who are suffering from these related diseases. If what they call it, the Louisiana lottery, if its original purpose was to serve education, well, then cigarette taxes should go to those people suffering from related diseases from cigarettes. I feel like if they would get all these sin taxes together, cigarettes and donuts and pie and soda pop and cake, things that contribute to heart disease and diabetes, and put them all together. And if the people are going to vote, then let's vote for all the sin taxes, not just target a small sector of the community, but let's get all these sins together, vote on it all together as one bill, and let's generate a lot of revenue, and that way we can have a better medical facility. Right now, they're trying to reduce the size of the new hospital in New Orleans when the number of casualties coming back from war is double from last year, and the number of veterans that are going to be needing these services are just growing, and we already know that Louisiana's number one in populations with unaffordability when it comes to health care. So let's put all these sin taxes together. Let everybody share in the revenue, the benefit, and the responsibility for financing a better health care system. That's what I believe.
Now, you know, one thing you're saying, and I think I'm hearing from everybody, and I totally agree with, is it's going to be a constitutional amendment which people can vote on. And I think in all of these cases that's going to cost taxpayers more money. I think it ought to go to a vote, and I've always thought that. I think let the people decide one way or the other, and if 70% want the tax, well, it rolls through. If 70% don't want it, well, it doesn't go through. So let the people decide.
If people want to do something about obesity in this country, if people want to do something, if they want to be serious, look, if they were really serious about cigarettes, Martin, they would stop it from coming in the state of Louisiana. We'd have a ban on cigarettes tomorrow for the state of Louisiana. But they know that it's a revenue maker. But if we know that it's a revenue maker, then let's make some revenue. And I think if you give the people of Louisiana a choice to tax against obesity, to tax against cigarettes, to tax against heart disease and all these diseases, I think we would get a lot of support for it. I think it would pass through, and I think Louisiana would have all the revenue it needs for its medical health care system.
Just to answer your question, as far as local votes, yes on the House side. Baldone voted yes. Let's see, let me go down. Gisclair voted yes. Harrison voted yes. Dove voted no.
He voted no.
Dove voted no. Gaudy Dove voted no.
On one of the New Orleans channels, Martin, there was two people that were mentioned. I couldn't remember if it was Gaudy, but I know that it was Joe Harrison. But there is somebody else that Oh, I think it was Richard.
Richard voted yes.
Yeah, it was Joe Harrison and Richard that voted yes. And I don't have a problem, but what the problem I have, Martin, is not just against a group of people like cigarettes. We need to get all these people involved for all these health-related problems.
Yeah, and look, Gordy notoriously votes against taxes, so that's not out of his realm, but Joe Harrison's been on the show several times. He wants that $50 million to go to health care to better provide for people who come up with it and to educate them. So it depends on where you're at in this game. I don't think there's one totally right answer and one totally wrong, but when you bring it to the people and you're a legislator and you're going to vote on something, say 80% say we don't want the tax. Well, that tells you as a legislator where you got to go.
Well, I just feel like I would be more confident with Joe Harrison if he would do his research in the healthcare industry and find out all these diseases that we can do something about it. What's the source of all these diseases? Combine them all into one piece of legislation, call it a sin tax, and let's start collecting that revenue.
Yeah, one thing, if you're going to dare Joe Harrison to do some research, he loves research, so he'll probably do it, you know. But I appreciate your call.
Hey, look, I'd love to sit down and talk with Joe Harrison about some of my medical knowledge and what we might be able to do to raise some revenue and solve some of our health care problems at the same time.
All right, we appreciate your call tonight.
All right, Martin.
Thank you. All right, we do have to take a break. Coming back to the phone lines, they're all lit up, and it got a lot of discussion, and you can tell when you're talking about taxes, people call up. A lot of new callers calling up because this is what, and it's good to see the public getting involved in issues like this because, God, at least tells me that people care. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.